Day 3, first practice. American team was on the field. National team out on the field. Who were 2 guys to you right off the rip that kind of stood out?
So, I mean, the easy ones are like Tez Johnson and everything like that because those guys have been feasting this whole week, right? To me, Harold Fannin Jr. has stacked 2 impressive days in a row. Impressive one-handed back of the end zone catch. Had some nice blocking reps, too, in like pass blocking and run blocking. So, and that was something we all wanted to see, right?
Absolutely.
So I think he stacked 2 good days in a row, and he had another good day today.
Yeah, he had that catch over the middle for the touchdown as well, right? He juked inside, came back out, left the guy, undressed, and made the catch from the goalpost. So.
The second guy I would say is, and again, he didn't get targeted a whole lot, but I watched him in his routes, and it's somebody you and I both just interviewed a few minutes ago, is Kyle Williams, wide receiver from Washington. Good movement skills, man. Gets in and out of his breaks like very cleanly, and it's impressive to me. Even if he's not getting targeted, I want to see what you're doing when you don't get the ball. So that was something that stood out.
Yeah, when I spoke to him, one thing he said is he prides himself on being able to play outside and inside. He's not just a one-trick pony. It's a lot of training, a lot of working on it to be able to be dominant at both spots. The Fanning man, he needed it. He had the first day there was a lot of rumblings about him, and people weren't very happy about his game. I was hearing slot back, maybe H-back, but I think he kind of silenced that a little bit today.
Yeah, he looked quicker the past 2 days than he did the first day. And to be honest, he probably hasn't had a game in a few weeks now.
It's probably been about 45 days.
Yeah, so you got to break that rust off. I'm sure Bowling Green's not super far from here, but you're in an all-star field. Everything's big here, you know what I mean? There's cameras everywhere. There's media people everywhere. Maybe just needed to shake off a little bit of rust, and he bounced back the last 2 days.
Still didn't see any quarterback from that team step out and really ball out. I mean, Dylan Gabriel has been the better QB out of all of them, but defensive side of the ball, they seem to be dominant today, and they were making the offense know that they were dominant.
They were getting loud today. There was a lot of chanting, a lot of getting in. Ollie Gordon got into it with somebody. I don't know who it was.
He might have been his own teammate.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. He was getting into it with somebody, but that defense was flying around the ball today. A couple pass breakups, late pass breakups too. I forget who it was, had a catch, and the guy knocked it right out of his hands. It was the back of the end zone. It was one of the back of the end zone drills. I can't remember exactly who it was, but that defense and the defensive line was causing some issues for the offense.
Yeah, it seemed as though Nick Martin's fully healthy now, Oklahoma State linebacker, and Bassett were just causing trouble, right? Again, Aeneas Pebbles, however you want to say it. I always mess it up. I apologize. Again, the guy was just a dominant force on the defensive line. And a surprising guy that I noticed, he kind of was just roaming around for the first 2 days. He was doing his thing, but Tommy Hill had a nice interception off a deflection in the end zone while keeping both feet in bounds. So it's nice to see the brass guy get out there and do his thing.
And it helps that the quarterbacks, like we mentioned, have been struggling a bit.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel, like you mentioned, has been, I think, the best quarterback this week in general, and both teams. I would say, though, while he's been the best quarterback, the most impressive quarterback, because he's got so much to work on, is the Tyler Elgramaz, yeah, the Canadian quarterback from Canada. Now, is he polished? Absolutely not. He made a lot of mistakes today. I believe that pick you're talking about was him.
Yeah.
He obviously needs to work on something, but that arm is live.
Oh, it's cannon.
It's very, very live. I've been impressed with him for a guy who would normally not be in a situation like that.
I learned a lot about him while I was down there. I learned that he was only playing 3 downs, which is kind of odd. Now he's kind of adjusting to the 4-down scheme.
And you said there's less players on the field in Canada?
I believe so.
Yeah,
that's kind of some of the things that I've been hearing. I don't know exactly, but so it was a lot of adjustment for him. One thing that I will give him props on, and I said to you day one, had a weird throwing motion. It's kind of like super high above the helmet. Notice day 2 and day 3, that's changed. I feel like your coaches talked to him. He took the criticism well, and he's kind of been doing well. The only problem was today, it seems that defense was very hungry. When he was in under center, they were getting, and there was a lot of times he couldn't even throw the ball. They had to whistle it dead, and these defensive guys were getting in his ear and chirping him. So day 3, first half of practices, that's been interesting. Dan Lanning on the field, early on, and again, Damon Martinez, my man's noticed it every day. First guy on the field for practice, well before anybody gets out there.
Well before.
I'm Nino Brown, CFB Nation, Dynasty Dogs, Mike Anthony. We out. We'll give you a recap after the second round.